Welcome to the Lindamood-Bell Radio Podcast, where we explore topics in literacy and learning. I'm Dave Hungerford for Lindamood-Bell, and today I'll be talking with a parent from our Birmingham, Alabama Learning Center. School year instruction at Lindamood-Bell is individualized to meet the needs of each student. From homework help to daily reading instruction to private school enrollment, we're sure to have a solution to meet your child's unique learning needs. Imagine school year success for your child. Learn more at lindamoodbell.com.
My name is Theresa Gregory, and I live in Birmingham, Alabama. My daughter is Annie Gregory, and she is currently in the 4th grade.
Were you a lawyer then?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering attorney, actually. Full-time mom, recovering attorney, but I do practice for friends and family.
So tell me about your daughter. What's her childhood been like?
My daughter, Annie, has always been a very, very bright child, very inquisitive. And when she went to preschool, the teachers always told me, Annie's the brightest in the class. I expect great things from her. And she's just a little bright star. And she's very competitive. She's very inquisitive and very outgoing, boisterous personality, a lot of fun. She's the only girl in the family. She's between 2 boys, so 2 brothers. But she's definitely our sunshine.
And she's been a student here at Lindamood-Bell, so I'm going
to
infer that maybe something happened academically.
Absolutely. The issues started early in second grade, especially into 3rd grade, which was last year. Annie started developing these problems where the teachers would come to us and say, Annie's having trouble getting started at school. We didn't really know at 1st and 2nd grade that it was a reading problem, so to speak. But I could start seeing things at home, and it wasn't an attention deficit disorder. We tested her for that. Her IQ was very, very high. We couldn't put our finger on it. We never dreamed in a million years that she would have a reading problem because she attends one of the best schools, actually the best school system arguably in the state, and it's actually their high school's nationally ranked high school. So we never put a finger on that she could be having a reading problem. When it really hit home for me was 3rd grade last year. Every night I sat down and I read with Annie doing guided reading because I was constantly talking to the teacher about what can we do, what can we work on. Every night for 30 minutes I would sit down with my daughter and we would read, and it was incredibly painful for her and for me. I mean, it was tears. She was constantly looking at the clock. How much more time do I have? When is this going to be over? And maybe in 30 minutes we'd get 2 pages along. And the other thing that hurt me the most was her big brother is such an incredible reader. He's a voracious reader, and so she wanted to be where he was because she's incredibly competitive. And that hurt her too.
Was she the kind of kid that if you read something to her, she'd understand it? Like her comprehension was okay?
Absolutely. Annie's comprehension level is amazing. Her ability to recall and memorize is amazing. So she could overcompensate in those areas. But when it came to reading things, the best way to describe it, the way it was described to me, and it made perfect sense when it was told to me for the first time, and it was Lindamood-Bell that explained it to me, is Annie, when people read, it's like a movie's going on in their brain. But for Annie, when she's reading, there's no picture there. There's no movie. She's just struggling to try to get through the words and make sense of the meaning. So, of course, it's not fun to read. And no matter how much of that guided reading, I mean, an entire year of 30 minutes every night of reading like that and getting nowhere and seeing no progress with the testing at school, we were just pulling our hair out. I sent her to other programs. I was just sort of at my wit's end because I knew she was such a bright child. And I even went to the point where we had the school tester because I was like, there has to be something there, and we couldn't put our finger on it.
So how did you find out about Lindamood-Bell?
I found out about Lindamood-Bell through, believe it or not, initially NPR. I listened to NPR. That is my time in the car after I drop children off at school. It's on, and I was listening to it. I actually wake up to it in the morning. So I don't have a buzzer. I have a radio that comes on, and they advertise there. And I started looking into it because I knew Annie needed something, and what we were trying and what we were doing with other tutoring or this or that wasn't working. And I spoke to my husband about it this past summer, and doing the research online, looking at the parents' testimonials. I thought this is something that we have to look into, because Annie's not anywhere near her full potential. When I went to your website, the biggest part for me was reading testimonials. And I also did outside, like I Googled Lindamood-Bell, and it seemed like the process is reading what these other parents are listening to. And to be completely honest, I had to do something. My husband and I, education, we came from very, 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 he and I both, he's from Montana, I'm from New Orleans, but very modest backgrounds. And education for us opened up so many doors. And it's that was something that we talked about, the expense of Lindamood-Bell. We said, there is no amount of money that we could say would be, if I had it, to give it, because the return on education. And what Lindamood-Bell has given Annie has completely unlocked her full potential to where she can now learn. And reading is part of the learning process, and that part was closed to her. So the return on our investment for what we spent here, it didn't matter. I mean, it was just a drop in the bucket compared to where her education can take her now because of what was unlocked, if I'm making any sense.
And so what was her schedule when she came here? What was her process like?
Well, I called in July. We got her into test late July, early August of 2015. And then we met with Ben and Brandy regarding the plan, the Scene Stars plan for Annie, sometime in August, and hammered out, okay, she gets back from camp and school starts, we can get her in that first week. Brandy said they're not going to be doing anything that first week of school anyway. So we went ahead and pulled her out of school that first week, and had that first week we got a lot of time under our belt. It was a full days. And that's the thing. I mean, my Annie, you asked me, what is she like? This is Annie. She would go to school all day. I checked the main schedule after that first week of getting the bulk under our belt, but the main schedule for the 65 hours that we've done is I would check her out of school at 2:30. She'd get here at 3 o'clock. 3 to 5, she would come here, and then we would go to whatever sport she's playing. Her two favorite right now is softball and basketball, and she would go to that for an hour and a half at night, and then get home. And while I'm bringing her home from the sporting event, she's in the back of the car with the light on reading. And this is a child who would never pick up a book without me begging her to do it, and it'd be a fight. And here's my child putting the light on in the back of the car, wanting to read, and she never complains. She's the hardest work. I mean, I wish my boys would work as hard as my Annie would work, but never complains. Never complained about coming here. Loved it. Absolutely look forward to it. Because I told her, I go, you know what? That was the other thing. Well, why do I have to go here? Do I have a problem? And I said, you don't have a problem. We just haven't unlocked your full potential, and they're going to get you there. And I didn't know if they were going to get her there or not, because being a lawyer, I had to read that disclaimer at the bottom that said, results aren't guaranteed, etc. But I was willing to take that risk, and I am so thankful, and my husband as well. We are so thankful. No amount of money, like I said, could compare to it went off for me really a couple weeks into it, 3 weeks into it, when the new Lego catalog for the fall came out. And it was a school morning, and everybody was ready to go to school. And the boys were head to head looking through that Lego catalog. And here's Annie at the edge of the other end of the sofa reading her book. And I'm like, I went in my bedroom and I started crying. I told Mom I started crying because I'm like, she can go now. I mean, she has the tools that she didn't have before that Lindamood-Bell gave her. And I'm just very, very thankful, very thankful. Annie is ready to post-test, and I couldn't be more, Mark and I just could not be more pleased. It's amazing. It really is amazing. Miss Bell, I just have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because my daughter loves to read, and that's the greatest gift you could give a child, so thank you. Sorry.
I never saw Perry Mason cry. Are you sure you're a lawyer?
I know, I get very emotional when it comes to my children, but like I said, just to struggle for so long and to not understand. I mean, the teacher like, we don't understand. She won't get started. Well, she didn't want to. She was embarrassed. And that's not Annie's style. I mean, when she plays sports, whatever she brings, whether it's sports or academics, she has to bring the best to the table. And she knew she wasn't bringing her best. She knew that. It's just she didn't know how to fix it.
So she's off and running with school and
Absolutely.
looking for good things into the future.
Annie is doing amazingly in school. Amazingly. I mean, she even, on her spelling test now, I got 25 out of 20 or 25 right. I thought the test was 20. Well, I got 5 bonus words right too. I mean, she is skyrocketing. It is, honestly, her full potential has been unlocked, and I'm convinced beyond a doubt it was this program.
I want to thank Ms. Gregory for talking with me, and I want to thank you for listening. You can find more episodes of the Lindamood-Bell Radio Podcast wherever you subscribe and get your podcasts. You can follow Lindamood-Bell on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We are Lindamood-Bell.